"He's financially reckless," my wife, Linda, said to the judge, her voice steady, like she was reading from a grocery list. "Early signs of dementia. He can't be trusted with money anymore." I sat there in that DuPage County courtroom, hands flat on the table, watching my wife of 30 years tell a judge I'd lost my mind. "My name is Gordon Pierce. I'm 58 years old, and I've spent the last 32 years as a senior financial auditor. I've audited pension funds for Fortune 500 companies." But according to Linda, I couldn't balance a checkbook. The judge, Virginia Crawford, didn't respond right away. She adjusted her reading glasses and looked past Linda to her attorney, Anthony Richardson. Her expression didn't change, but something in the air shifted. "Counselor," Judge Crawford said slowly, "are you certain you understand what Mr. Pierce does for a living?" Richardson cleared his throat. "Risk management, Your Honor." "Some kind of accounting work." The judge's eyebrows went up just a fraction. "Some kind of accounting work." That's when I knew this whole thing was about to fall apart. Not because I planned it that way, but because Linda had made the same mistake she'd been making for years. She thought quiet meant stupid. Let me back up. This mess started 6 months ago when I opened my 401 key statement and saw something that made my stomach drop. The balance was $127,000 lower than it should have been. I pulled out my calculator, cross-referenced my records, and ran the numbers 3 times. The variance was material, as we say in the business. I walked into the kitchen where Linda was making coffee. "Hey, did you move money out of the retirement account?" She didn't look up from the coffee maker. "Just some rebalancing." "You never pay attention to that stuff anyway." But I did pay attention. That was the problem. When you've spent 3 decades catching financial irregularities, you develop certain habits. You document everything. You verify sources. You follow paper trails. Over the next 2 weeks, I quietly pulled statements from our other accounts. What I found wasn't rebalancing. It was systematic transfer of assets, spread across 14 months, always just under the amounts that would trigger automatic reporting. Linda had been moving our retirement money into accounts I didn't even know existed. The pattern was elegant, actually. Starting in January 2022, Linda had been moving money in precise amounts. $8,400 here, $9,200 there, always just under the $10,000 threshold that triggers bank reporting requirements. The money went to an account at First National, then to a business account for something called Pierce Financial Consulting, then to investment accounts I'd never seen. Linda had created a shell company in her name, using our address. And she'd been running our retirement money through it for almost 2 years. When I confronted her with the statements, she got angry. Not defensive, angry. "You're becoming paranoid, Gordon," she said. "This is exactly what I'm talking about. You obsess over numbers that don't matter. $127,000 doesn't matter. You can't see the big picture anymore. You're losing your edge." That phrase stuck with me. Losing your edge. In my business, losing your edge means missing fraud. It means not catching the patterns that everyone else misses. But I wasn't missing anything. I was finding too much. The next morning, Linda was gone before I woke up. She left a note saying she was staying at her sister's until you get help. 2 days later, the petition arrived, emergency conservatorship. She was asking the court to put her in charge of all our finances because I was showing early signs of cognitive decline and making reckless investment decisions. I sat in my car in the driveway for several minutes before opening it, watching condensation beat on the windshield. When I finally read the words financial incapacity, emergency conservatorship, they felt surreal, like they belonged to someone else's life. Within 48 hours, my accounts were frozen. My employer, Continental Financial Services, put me on administrative leave pending resolution of the legal matter. 32 years of clean audits, and suddenly I was a liability. My son Nathan called that evening. "Dad, Mom says you've been acting strange, making bad financial decisions." What kind of bad decisions? She didn't get specific. Just said you lost a lot of money and got paranoid about it. I could hear the worry in his voice. Nathan was 28, worked in marketing, trusted his mother. Why wouldn't he? For years, Linda had handled all the family communication. She was the one who called the kids, organized holidays, managed relationships. I was the quiet one who paid the bills and showed up. "Nathan, I need you to know something. I didn't lose money. I found where it went." "What do you mean?" "I can't explain over the phone, but I need you to trust me for a little while longer. Dad, you're scaring me." Mom says you've been making charts and spreadsheets about every expense. She says you accused her of stealing. I looked out the window at our house, the house Linda and I had lived in for 15 years. The house we'd bought when my career hit its stride and her real estate business was taking off. The house that was probably going to be sold to pay for lawyers. The charts aren't paranoia, Nathan. They're evidence. There was a long pause. Evidence of what? That's what we're going to find out in court. The hearing was set for 3 weeks out. During that time, Linda moved back into the house and treated me like I was made of glass. She spoke slowly, asked if I remembered things I'd said 5 minutes earlier, and started handling all the mail. She'd bring me coffee and pat my shoulder like I was her elderly father instead of her husband. "How are you feeling today, Gordon?" She'd ask every morning, her voice dripping with concern that felt rehearsed. But Linda didn't know about my office filing system. Every bank statement, every transaction record, every investment summary from the last 5 years was organized by date and cross-referenced in color-coded folders. While she was managing my daily life like I was losing my mind, I was building a timeline that would prove the opposite. I called my former colleague at the IRS, Margaret Stevens. Margaret and I had worked together on a pension fund audit in 2019. She now handled financial crime investigation for the federal government. "Gordon, what you're describing sounds like structured transactions," she said after I walked her through the pattern. "Keeping everything under $10,000 to avoid reporting requirements. That's not accidental. I know. But how do I prove intent? You document the pattern. Show the systematic nature. And Gordon? This isn't cognitive decline. This is someone who thought you wouldn't notice because you're just the quiet husband who doesn't pay attention." Margaret was right. Linda had always dismissed my work as shuffling papers and staring at spreadsheets all day. She'd never understood that pattern recognition was exactly what I did for a living. Finding the anomalies that everyone else missed was my specialty. Over the next week, I quietly expanded my investigation. I pulled credit reports, traced the business license for Pierce Financial Consulting, and discovered that Linda had been listing herself as a licensed financial advisor. She wasn't licensed for anything. The consulting company was a front, and the clients were real estate investors who happened to be personal friends of Linda's sister. The money trail led to a property development deal in Wisconsin. Linda had used our retirement funds as seed money for a real estate investment that promised 12% returns. The problem was, the development was still just empty land, and the promised returns were fictional. Our money was tied up in a project that might never break ground. I printed everything. Bank statements, wire transfer records, business registration documents, tax filings that didn't match our personal returns. I organized it all in a 3-ring binder with tabs and cross-references. If someone was going to question my mental capacity, they were going to have to explain how someone with dementia could create a forensic accounting report. My daughter, Melissa, called from graduate school the weekend before the hearing. "Dad, I don't understand what's happening," she said. Her voice was small, confused. "Mom says you've been acting paranoid and making accusations that don't make sense." Melissa was 25, getting her master's in psychology. She understood family dynamics, but she didn't understand financial fraud. To her, this looked like a marriage falling apart because her father was having some kind of breakdown. "Melissa, I know this is confusing, but I need you to trust that I'm not losing my mind. I'm using the same skills I've used for 30 years to analyze our family finances." "But Mom showed me some of your charts. Dad, they look obsessive, like you've been tracking every penny we spend." "Because every penny matters when someone is systematically moving large amounts without permission." She says you accused her of stealing from Grandma. I stopped. Linda had been bringing up my mother more often lately. Beverly had died 2 years ago, and Linda had helped me settle her estate. I trusted Linda to handle the paperwork because I was grieving and overwhelmed. "Melissa, what did your mother say about Grandma's estate?" "Just that you were questioning some of the expenses, that you couldn't remember agreeing to things." I felt something cold settle in my stomach. I'd been so focused on our retirement accounts that I hadn't thoroughly audited my mother's estate settlement. Linda had handled most of it while I was dealing with funeral arrangements and cleaning out the house. "I have to go, honey. But I need you to know that I love you, and none of this changes that this is about protecting our family's future." After we hung up, I drove to my storage unit where I'd kept my mother's financial records. It took me 3 hours to go through everything, but the pattern was there. Small withdrawals from my mother's accounts in the months before she died, all labeled as care expenses or medical costs. But I had copies of the actual medical bills, and they didn't match the withdrawals. Linda had been practicing on my mother's money before she moved on to ours. The night before the hearing, I couldn't sleep. I sat in my home office, looking at the wall of evidence I'd assembled. 3 binders of financial records, a timeline printed on poster board, and a stack of legal documents that told the story of systematic financial frauds spanning nearly 3 years. Linda knocked on the door around midnight. "Gordon, can we talk?" I looked up from the papers. She was wearing the robe I'd bought her for Christmas 2 years ago, back when I thought we were just growing older together quietly. Back when I thought our biggest problem was Nathan not calling enough and Melissa being too far away at school. "We can talk," I said. She sat down across from me, glanced at the papers spread across my desk, and shook her head. "You've made this so much more complicated than it needs to be." "How complicated should financial fraud be, Linda? It's not fraud, it's protection. You never wanted to deal with investment decisions. You never wanted to think about what happens if the market crashes again like it did in 2008. I was trying to diversify our assets by hiding them from me, by managing them properly." She leaned forward. "Gordon, you're good at your job, but you're conservative with money to a fault. We needed growth, and I found opportunities. Opportunities that lost $127,000, investments that are still developing. The Wisconsin project will pay off, but it takes time." I looked at her, really looked at her. After 30 years of marriage, I was finally seeing Linda clearly. She genuinely believed she was protecting us. She'd convinced herself that lying about the money, hiding the accounts, and filing for conservatorship were all justified because she was the one with vision, while I was just the cautious accountant who couldn't see the big picture. "Linda, tomorrow a judge is going to ask you to explain why you think I'm incompetent to manage money. What are you going to tell her?" Linda straightened up. "I'm going to tell her the truth. That you've become obsessed with tracking every expense, that you've accused me of crimes that don't exist, and that you're not thinking clearly about our financial future." "And what if she asks about my professional qualifications? Your job doesn't qualify you to make personal investment decisions." I nodded slowly. "Okay. Then we'll see what she thinks about that." Linda stood up, paused at the door, and turned back. "Gordon, it's not too late. We could withdraw the petition. Work this out privately. The accounts are frozen, Linda. We're past the point of working anything out privately." She left, and I went back to my papers. By morning, I'd organized everything into a presentation that would either prove my competence or confirm Linda's story about my obsessive paranoia. Either way, by tomorrow evening, one of us was going to be very wrong about who I really was. The morning of the hearing, Linda dressed carefully. Navy suit, minimal jewelry, the look of a concerned wife protecting her family. I wore the same gray suit I'd worn to client meetings for 15 years. I carried a leather briefcase that contained 32 years of professional credibility and 3 years of evidence. We sat across from each other in that small courtroom, and Linda's attorney laid out their case methodically. Mr. Pierce had shown increasing confusion about financial matters. He'd become fixated on account balances, obsessing over normal market fluctuations. He'd accused his wife of moving money without basis. His employer had placed him on leave due to concerns about his judgment. "Mrs. Pierce," Richardson said, "can you describe your husband's recent behavior for the court?" Linda looked sad, practiced. "He's always been detail-oriented, but this is different. He thinks I'm stealing money. He makes charts and spreadsheets about every expense. He's convinced there's some conspiracy involving our retirement funds." "And how has this affected your family? Our children are scared. Nathan, our son, doesn't understand why his father is accusing his mother of crimes that don't exist. Our daughter Melissa is in graduate school, and she's worried about her father's mental state. They've asked me to get help for him." Richardson nodded sympathetically. "In your opinion, is Mr. Pierce capable of managing complex financial decisions?" "No," Linda said, and her voice carried just the right amount of pain. "He's financially reckless. He sees fraud where there's just normal investment management. He can't distinguish between his professional paranoia and our personal finances." That's when Judge Crawford asked her question about my profession. My attorney, Stephanie Walsh, stood up slowly. She was an elder law specialist who'd seen these cases before. usually involving adult children trying to control elderly parents. But this case was different, and she knew it. "Your Honor," Stephanie said, "Mr. Pierce isn't just an accountant. He's a certified public accountant who specializes in forensic auditing. For the past 15 years, his job has been finding financial irregularities that other auditors miss." Judge Crawford leaned forward. "Mr. Pierce, is that accurate?" I stood up. "Yes, Your Honor. I audit pension funds and investment accounts for major corporations. My job is identifying systematic fraud and documenting financial crimes. And in your professional opinion, have you found any irregularities in your personal accounts?" Richardson started to object, but Judge Crawford held up a hand. "Yes," I said. "Systematic transfer of assets totaling $127,000 over 14 months, structured to avoid federal reporting requirements." The courtroom got very quiet. I could hear the heating system cycling, the rustling of papers, someone's phone vibrating in the gallery. "Mr. Pierce," the judge continued, "do you have documentation to support that analysis?" I looked at Stephanie. She nodded. "Yes, Your Honor. Complete transaction records, account statements, transfer authorizations, and business registration documents for a shell company established without my knowledge." Judge Crawford turned to Linda. "Mrs. Pierce, are you familiar with an entity called Pierce Financial Consulting?" Linda's face went white. Not pale white, "That's a business account for some consulting work I've been doing." "What kind of consulting?" "Financial planning, for friends, small investments." The judge was quiet for a long moment. "Mr. Pierce, would you please approach the bench with your documentation?" I walked forward with my briefcase and handed Judge Crawford the main summary binder. She spent 5 minutes reviewing the timeline, the account statements, and the business registration documents. Her expression didn't change, but she asked Linda's attorney to approach as well. "Mr. Richardson," she said quietly, "are you aware that Mrs. Pierce has been operating as an unlicensed financial advisor while using marital assets for speculative investments?" Richardson looked confused. "Your Honor, we were told this was about Mr. Pierce's cognitive decline." "Mr. Pierce," Judge Crawford said, returning to her seat, "in your professional opinion, what would you call this pattern of financial activity?" "Structured transactions designed to avoid oversight, combined with unauthorized use of retirement funds for high-risk investments through an unlicensed entity. And in layman's terms, money laundering and investment fraud." Linda stood up abruptly. "That's not what this is. Gordon, you're making this sound criminal when it's just business." Judge Crawford's voice cut through the room. "Mrs. Pierce, please sit down." Linda didn't argue, but her hands were shaking. "Mr. Richardson," the judge continued, "I'm denying this petition with prejudice. Furthermore, given the evidence presented, I'm ordering an immediate freeze on all accounts associated with both parties, and I'm referring this matter to the district attorney for criminal review." The gavel came down and Linda started crying. Not sad crying, angry crying. Outside the courthouse, Linda grabbed my arm. "You planned this," she hissed. "You set me up." I looked at her. After 30 years of marriage, I was finally seeing her clearly. "I didn't set you up, Linda. I just did what I always do. I followed the documentation trail. Those investments were for our future. The Wisconsin project is going to pay off with whose money? Our money. Money you never wanted to think about or manage. Money you stole and hid." She let go of my arm. "I protected us, Gordon. From your fear, from your conservatism, from your inability to see opportunities." I watched her walk to her sister's car. Linda genuinely believed she was the victim here. She'd convinced herself that my discovery of her scheme was proof of my paranoia rather than evidence of her crime. That afternoon, Stephanie called me. "The DA's office wants to meet next week." "Gordon, this is going to get bigger before it gets smaller." "How much bigger?" "Federal agents, bank compliance officers, IRS involvement. When they start looking at structured transactions, they don't stop until they've traced every dollar." I sat in my car in the courthouse parking lot, thinking about what came next. The investigation, the charges, the trial. The end of a marriage that had been ending for years without me realizing it. The need to rebuild relationships with my kids who'd been told their father was losing his mind. But for the first time in months, my accounts weren't frozen. Continental Financial Services had already called to schedule my return to work. The judge's recognition of my professional competence had been more than vindication, it had been restoration. I drove home to a house that would probably be sold within the year, to begin the process of building a life that looked nothing like what I'd planned at 58. But it would be an honest life. And after everything that had happened, honesty felt like the most radical thing I could choose. The investigation took 4 months. Federal agents, bank compliance officers, tax auditors. Linda had created an elaborate scheme to move our retirement money through multiple accounts, then invested it in real estate deals that coincidentally benefited her sister's development company. She'd made about $40,000 in profit while depleting our retirement by $127,000. The federal charges came down on a Tuesday morning in February. Wire fraud, tax evasion, and violation of retirement account regulations. Linda hired a criminal defense attorney who tried to frame it as a marital dispute rather than financial crime. But the evidence was too systematic, too documented, too clearly intentional. Linda took a plea deal. 18 months suspended sentence, 5 years probation, and full restitution with interest. The Wisconsin land deal was liquidated, and the proceeds went back into our retirement accounts. She was also banned from acting as any kind of financial advisor or managing anyone else's money. Continental Financial Services not only reinstated me, they promoted me to senior audit director. Turns out, catching your own spouse in a financial fraud scheme is exactly the kind of real-world experience they value in someone who audits other people's money. Nathan called me a week after the sentencing. "Dad, I owe you a serious apology. You don't owe me anything. You believed what made sense to believe." "How long did you know?" "I suspected something was wrong for months. I knew for certain the day I pulled all the statements and saw the pattern." "Why didn't you just confront her earlier?" "I thought about that, because confrontation destroys evidence, documentation preserves it, and in the end, the documentation told the story better than I ever could have." There was a long pause. "Dad, I feel like I don't know anything about money or protecting myself. Could you teach me what to look for?" That conversation lasted 2 hours. We went through banking basics, warning signs of financial manipulation, and how to verify that investment advisors are actually licensed. Nathan took notes like he was studying for a final exam. My daughter Melissa drove up from graduate school that weekend. She sat at the kitchen table where Linda used to sort mail and asked the question I'd been dreading. "Are you angry?" I arranged some papers on the table, squaring the edges. "I'm disappointed, but anger would have made me sloppy. Sloppy misses details. So you never got mad?" "Not even when she called you reckless in court?" "Oh, I got mad," I said, "but being mad and acting mad are two different things." "Acting mad would have made me look exactly like she said I was confused and paranoid." Melissa nodded. "You know what's funny? All those years she said you never paid attention to anything except your work. She was right about that. I did pay attention to my work. I just never realized my work was exactly what I'd need to protect my family." 6 months after the trial, I was cleaning out Linda's old office when I found something that stopped me cold. A notebook tucked between some real estate journals. Her handwriting, but entries I'd never seen. January 2022. Started the transfers. G won't notice if I keep them small. March 2022. G asking questions about the accounts. Need to be more careful. July 2022. Maybe I should stop, but we need the cash for Sarah's business. December 2022. G getting suspicious. Might need to do something about his access. February 2023. Talked to Richardson about conservatorship options. If G becomes a problem, this could work. She'd been planning the conservatorship for over a year. Not because I was losing my mind, but because I was getting too close to finding her scheme. The early dementia story wasn't her response to my behavior. It was her exit strategy. I closed the notebook and filed it with the other evidence. Even now, documentation mattered more than anger. People ask me if I regret trusting her for so long. The honest answer is no. Trust isn't the same as blindness, and verification isn't the same as paranoia. I trusted Linda until the evidence told me not to. Then I followed the evidence. At 58, I thought I knew what the rest of my life looked like. Steady work, quiet retirement, family dinners, where nobody questioned anybody's competence. But sometimes life gives you a chance to prove something to yourself that you didn't know needed proving. I learned that 32 years of professional training doesn't just disappear because someone says it should. I learned that quiet observation beats loud accusation every time. And I learned that the skills that make you good at your job can save your life in ways you never expected. These days, I live in a smaller house with an excellent filing system. My retirement account is rebuilt and properly secured. Nathan visits most weekends, and we go over his investment portfolio together. Melissa calls every Tuesday, and she started asking me to review any financial documents before she signs them. They both understand now that paying attention to details isn't paranoia, it's protection. Last month, a colleague's wife tried to get him to sign over power of attorney because she was better with money. He called me instead. We spent an afternoon going through his accounts, and he discovered she'd been moving money to her personal savings for 8 months. He's getting help now, and she's getting counseling. No lawyers, no courtroom drama, just early detection and honest conversation. The marriage didn't survive, but his retirement did. Sometimes that's the best outcome you can hope for. I've started speaking at financial planning seminars for men approaching retirement. The title of my talk is Trust, but Verify. Protecting your financial future from the people you trust most. It's always packed, and the questions afterward tell me I'm not the only one who learned these lessons the hard way. If you're still here, thank you for listening to this story. If you've ever been dismissed, overlooked, or quietly erased by someone who thought you wouldn't notice, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what time it is there. These stories don't exist in isolation. They live in the spaces where we recognize ourselves in someone else's experience. And if you're a man over 50 who's been told you're losing your edge or too set in your ways to see what's happening in your own financial life, remember this. The person who says you can't see clearly might be the person who doesn't want you to see clearly. Trust your training. Document everything. And never mistake silence for weakness. Sometimes, the quiet ones are the most dangerous of all.